Now, we've mentioned that these cars have got pretty good horsepower, but one of the reasons why they're also so quick is they've actually got brakes off an Evo 4 Lancer, and they're absolutely sensational. They go right to the last minute to hit the brakes, and they pull up on a dime.
Of course, these cars form the basis of a one-make series in Japan. Mitsubishi Ralliart put these together particularly for one-make racing. And as you say, great brakes, great engine performance, and really good handling. They're a lot of fun, and of course this series continuing in year 2000 as well.
Harvey certainly must be a steerer. He's really applying the pressure on the back of Nesbitt now, and as we've said a couple of times, he has come from the back of the grid. Didn't qualify well, but look at him charge now. Run on the outside. Two wheels in the dirt. They don't tend to brake very well when half the car's on the grass.
That's a pretty dangerous spot to be out there, heading into Momo Recaro as they head downhill. Bit of a challenge being put here on Gary Young as Harvey rounding up, Nesbitt I should say, rounding up the inside, and Harvey goes the outside.
Three abreast down into the bottom turn here. Who's going to come off the victor? Harvey's going to go wide, and he's not going to make it tuck in behind Young, but boy, it looked good for a second there.
And Evans comes back as well to put on the end, get on the end of this high-speed freight train down across this big wet patch on the track. There's a river flowing across that part of Oran Park, and it really makes it difficult for the drivers as they negotiate that corner.
Yeah, they certainly are front-wheel drive cars, but they still get the tail out. The momentum of the rear end of the car when it gets on that wet stuff likes to hang the tail out a little bit through there. I think Evans and Harvey are the ones charging at the moment, and I believe that Young and Nesbitt are holding him up. Here comes Harvey down the inside to make the pass and move him forward another spot. Will Evans get the run on Young as well? I think he does. Pluck another gear and he'll take the pass on the number 11 machine.
Yeah, he carried good speed out of the corner there, and as you can see, romps past Young as they head down the straight one more time. And just talking back about Gavin Harvey, of course, another one of the second generation races. We saw young James Brock do particularly well at Bathurst recently. Gavin Harvey, of course, son of John Harvey, the former partner of Peter Brock in so many Bathurst triumphs.
Well, Gavin certainly is a good steerer. He's pulling away from Nesbitt already, and he's charging. I like how the cars tip in so hard they pull the left inside wheel off the ground coming through IC there, and they also do the same thing at Roman Autotech turn, which is the left-hander down here coming onto the front straight. Down hard on the brakes. You see the brake lights there, John. They're hardly braking. They're going in very deep.
Well, as you say, Nathan, they've got huge brakes. They may be standard motor cars, but they're very well specified. Virtually race cars from the showroom. As we see Dean Evans going on board there, carrying huge amounts of speed past Nesbitt and gathering up the places he lost early on. Gavin Harvey locking a brake, heading into Coca-Cola that time around. It really must be fantastic to power these things down and get them on the edge of adhesion and brake going into Coca-Cola corner.
There's Dean Evans. He's carried the onboard camera for us for the last couple of laps, and he's certainly provided us with plenty of exciting pictures. He's hit the wall, he's had a run on the grass, and he's also had a fair bit of success, a big run.
You can see all the marks across the grass there coming through IC corner. That's a legacy of the cars going off on this slippery track. There's still a lot of rain around, a lot of water around on the track, and of course with the rain we've had here at Oran Park, it's washed all the rubber away, so the track's very green.
And Harvey now coming up into the tail of Volandis in the Elvis car. He's had more hits than Elvis, I understand.
Absolutely, that's a car that's really had a hard time. But Warren Luff still leading this race and leading it well. Mohan Pereira well back in second place. But Luffy Jr. really has been the find of this series. He's dominated so many of the races and really been a performer.
Yes, the take speed off the roads Penrith Mitsubishi Mirage has been an absolute rocket ship, and it's got a lot to do with the guy behind the wheel. Speaking of rocket ship, here comes Gavin Harvey, absolutely flying. Would probably be safe to say that he'd have to be one of the quickest guys on the racetrack as far as lap times are concerned. He was really absolutely driven this car very, very hard indeed, trying to get from the back to the front, and he's nearly there, but I don't think he's going to have enough laps to do anything with it.
Sliding the car around like his father used to do with the speed cars at Sydney Showground Speedway back in the 60s. Gavin Harvey, another find in this championship. We see there Gary Young coming under a bit of pressure from Nesbitt, and there you see Harvey. The back brake's getting very, very light, and that's where the lockups are occurring because all the weight's going to the front. They're very light little motor cars. Going back on board again with Dean Evans as he gathers up the Elvis car there again.
Round the outside, that's a pretty brave move, especially considering the amount of water that is on the track at that point, and he could have actually backed the thing off the corner. But a good move, he's got it, and full credit to him.
Absolutely. Taking nice lines through the corners, Dean Evans, and showing that that he's a bit of a talent too. This is, of course, a guest drive for him. It's a media car, so he doesn't get to drive this regularly. He's had a couple of drives in the series. It's Gary Young we see there in the nicely presented little orange car, powering through onto the front straight.
1 lap to go in the grand final of the lease plan Mitsubishi Mirage series, and Warren Luff out in front still at the moment. Second place, Mohan Pereira, who got pole, and these two had been certainly inseparable during qualifying, but I think Warren Luff is shining a little bit brighter here today. Look at the lead he's pulled out on Pereira. The thing about Luffy Jr. is he's pretty consistent. He might be able to put in a quick lap, but he does it lap after lap after lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Mohan Pereira might have got him by 0.2 of a second in qualifying, but Warren's shown that he's the master of race craft, pulling out a big lead, and he'll take the checkered flag this time around. A great effort from Warren Luff, again dominating this race in the lease plan Mitsubishi Mirage Cup, a long way back to Mohan Pereira.
And in third place, a great drive for Gavin Harvey from the back of the grid, but the winner for the first race of the day at least, Warren Luff.
No, it was really good. It was very slippery out there. There's still a lot of water and mud across the circuit, but no, we're very happy with the result. It's another win for Penrith Mitsubishi, so we'll see if we can do it again in race 2.
That's all we have time for on Speed Week. I'm John Thompson from the team. We thank you for joining us, and we leave you with some very hot laps from Warren Luff in his Mitsubishi Mirage Cup car at Oran Park. See you next week.
Okay, here we are in the number 50 Take Speed Off the Roads Penrith Mitsubishi Mirage. We're going to go do some hot lapping and show you what one of these is like around the Oran Park Grand Prix circuit layout. Let's go. Out of the pits, second gear, coming down up to third, 8,000 revs is maximum revs for these little things. Into fourth, tuck in here, back to third, back to second, tuck it in. On the throttle and up on out. 8,000, third gear. Down the straight here, just a little straight, hard on the brakes. Second, tuck it in, looking through the foot, on it's going, on the throttle. 8,000, third. Back to second. On the throttle. Up to third, up onto the bridge here at Oran Park. Little ease. On the throttle. Popping the drive of the car in front. 8,000. Down the straight. We're staying fourth gear, but it's probably about 8,000 revs. On the brakes. Back to second. Down here in third, waiting, hard on the brakes. Tucking. Second gear, up to third. Back to second.